Hey guys, welcome to the Game Code. I am your host, Adam Morehouse. We had a very busy week here in Atlantic Canada with all sorts of things gaming and developer related alike. Let's get started. First, we visit the busy developers at the Halifax Game Jam. These artists, programmers, designers, and developers came together to compete and make brand new games over just 48 hours. The very next day, we went behind the doors at Frag for Cancer 8, the biggest gaming charity tournament in Atlantic Canada. We talked to the players, watched the matches, and caught all the excitement over the weekend. Finally, Alex Jabali of CEO fame returned to his hometown for Frag 8, and we got him in the studio to talk about running the CEO tournament, fighting games, and, of course, his role in Dive Kick. But before we get into Frag, let's go check in with the Halifax Game Jam developers and see what goes into making a game in just under 48 hours.
So a game jam is an event. It's typically about 48 hours long where you kind of prepare yourself mentally for a kind of trying to make a complete game in one weekend. And what you do is you build a team, usually before you get there, sometimes when you get there, and then you try to make a small game and finish it off so that it's completely playable from start to finish. I think the first one was in early 2010. It grew out of the Dalhousie Game Programming Club that was started by Matthew Jukes and myself. First one was pretty weird. It was a single night. We started at 6 and went till 6. We had made some okay games. I finished my game off that weekend and we all just had a blast. There was about 12 or 13 of us there. The next year we organized it. We got a poster made by an advertising agency, Say Hi There, who are amazing, and got the word out to a bunch of people. We had about 50 people show up and everyone was in there for the whole weekend and made some really awesome games. The next year we did an even better job, capped out at about 100. It looks like this year we'll have 150 people come by and at least 100 of them work on games, and I've never been more proud of the community. So this year's theme is called Discovery. The theme is chosen to give you a direction, to give you some kind of thing you need to do, like a constraint, because that breeds creativity in designing, and also to be wide enough that you don't get a bunch of games that are too samey, too much like each other. And so Discovery is nice in general, but also very pointed in what it means. Last year's Halifax Game Jam, there was a game that was played with 2 Wiimotes and a Microsoft Kinect where you were a minstrel making electronic Baroque music, and it was kind of like Just Dance and Guitar Hero, but you were, of course, playing a lute and trying to defeat evil lizard people. So it was pretty fun, yeah. I think that getting into games is a very rewarding and challenging experience. There's so many different roles to fill in game companies and so many different ways as a hobbyist you can make things that other people are going to enjoy. So no matter how talented you think you are, if you want to make games, give it a shot, and there will be people out there that want to play them. Just put a little bit of time in and it'll happen. I think Game Jam will happen every year from now on, if not having smaller ones throughout the year. I mean, we've already had 2 this year. The one, sponsored by another company, and it's been really great.
Yeah, my name is Chris Willett. I'm a recent graduate of St. Mary's University. Up until a couple weeks ago, I was a software engineer at HP Studios, working on some AAA titles for EA. Gaming scene in Atlantic Canada is, I don't know, I guess it's growing right now. It's a pretty warm community. People are quick to accept you, especially around universities and stuff. If you want to jump into a game scene or whatever, there's usually boards and groups that you can join. So it's nice. My favorite game would have to be World of Warcraft because I wasted a good 7 years of my life on it, and I don't regret a minute. I just came out here to, like shake some hands and meet up with some old friends, bang out some code. So hopefully we can see something come out of all this. Would be awesome.
I have my own company. I have a partner. His name's Mauricio Duarte. And Mauricio and I run Logic Sound Studios, and we provide full service audio for the interactive industry. So we'll do your music, we'll do your sound effects, we'll cast voice talent, we'll edit everything, we'll do the FMOD projects, we'll help you with the middleware, we'll help you integrate. And so we're full service for the audio, full service audio for the video game industry. I've worked on some pretty big games, like the biggest game that everybody seems to know is Mass Effect. I was the audio lead on that. I was in charge of the music design, I was in charge of the sound design. I had 4 composers I was in charge of, 6 sound designers. I spent 6 years at BioWare, so I worked on Dragon Age, Mass Effect, Knights of the Old Republic, Jade Empire. Previous to that, I worked on games like Homeworld, a really great real-time strategy game that's being revised. Quite a lot of iOS titles in the past couple of years, so some games like Spy vs. Spy, the classic Commodore 64 game on your iPhone, that was me, and yeah. I'd have to say my favorite platform was the Xbox One, and that was simply because the audio tools, with myself being an audio guy, I'm a sound designer and a composer, the audio tools on Xbox One were some of the best tools I'd ever seen in my life. And so I had a lot of fun developing on Xbox One. Xbox 360 is pretty cool too, but I like the tools on the Xbox One that I had at my disposal at that time. For getting into the game industry, myself, I don't actually even have a university degree related to gaming and that. I've actually came from a technical background of an electronics tech, and I'd say it's really about persistence and passion. If you really want to do this, you've just got to go for it. You've got to really find the way that you can do it. And game jams are actually a really good way of doing it, because you'll meet like-minded people that want to make games, and you'll find your kindred spirits here. You'll find your little team to move your career forward. Atlantic Canada seems to have a really burgeoning game scene here, and it's even bigger than Alberta as far as I can tell. You take BioWare out of Alberta, and there's a lot more developers in Atlantic Canada than there is in Alberta. Plus, there's great tax credits out here, so guys like myself who are on the road to making their own games and their own game company now have access to funding pretty easily for all this digital media stuff.
Do you think these guys have what it takes to make your dream game? If so, make sure to check out all of their submissions on the link below. Speaking of games, let's go check out what's coming up in the next couple of months. The new consoles are closer than ever, so that makes for a busy month in upcoming games. Here are the highlights so you can make sure you spend all of your dollars well. Stay tuned, guys. We're going to be right back after the break with a sneak peek inside Frag for Cancer 8 before Mr. Jabali himself stops by the Game Code Studios for a little chat.